Hey guys, it's Caden. How's it going again? So today I've got to do a little bit of bike work. So this is my 2000 RM125 that I got earlier this year. I fully rebuilt it, and even though it runs great, a little bit of tuning stuff in the carb I need to mess with. But the real problem that I'm having with it is that the clutch is just draggy. Even when the clutch is fully in, it's not completely releasing all the tension, and it's just kind of dragging a little bit. The clutch really feels like it's really on or off. There's not a lot of in between. And then like if I pull up to a stop and it's in gear but I'm holding the clutch in, it just kind of dies on me. So I got to figure out what the heck is going on with the dragging issue. I've tried an OEM replacement. I've tried an all balls. I've tried this is another one from like Texas, I think. That's another one to try there. But yeah, I've tried several different clutch cables and they haven't fixed it. I've messed with the tension in the clutch, like of the springs themselves, and that actually seemed to fix it just a little bit. So I was talking to someone and he recommended that I get a EBC clutch kit. So in my toolbox over there, I do have a brand new EBC clutch kit I'm going to be putting in this guy. And then while I'm at it, my 1993 RMX250 needs an oil change. So we're going to do this guy first, then we'll get to this guy second. And yep, we'll just have to see how it goes. All right, so on the 1983 RMX250, all I have to do is an oil change. Because it's kind of set up enduro-like and it has a skid plate cover here, I got to take off the skid plate with these two Allen keys down here. And once the skid plate's off, then we'll have access to the main drain. All right, so we're down here on the floor. Technically, there are these holes on the skid plate. So in theory, you could drain the oil without taking it off. But honestly, since I purchased this bike, I have not taken off the skid plate. So it's probably a good thing just to crack in there and see what's under here. And actually this bolt was a little looser than I probably would have liked. So you can see here how it connects. There's these little brackets that go over the frame, and then these screw just directly into it. So as you unscrew this, it comes off the bracket, and then you're good to go. So I'm gonna get this guy off and I'll show you what's up. All right, and then I just realized that I actually have these two guys here on the front too. So similar thing, I'll just take those off. The other two are off now, and then we'll be all good. All right, so we got this guy off here, but check this out. RMX-ish. So I bought this bike from Jay Clark of Dirtbike TV, and if you know Jay, you know he has a little sense of humor. And also, they definitely don't make one just for the RMX. This bike is a little too old, and it's not like a super common enduro platform now in the modern era. But yeah, so RMX-ish, it kind of fits. But these are fine, and it just connects with those little things there. So if we take a look under here, let me get you some light. All right, so here's some light. So you can see a little dirty under there, nothing too crazy. But most importantly, no oil leaks, no mess or anything like that. That's part of the problem with the the 125 over here, is that there is a slight oil leak. So I gotta investigate that. But this appears to be all good. And then the other side here is not too bad. I pressure washed this bike the other day, so just a little bit of oil on this front left side. So I'll do a little bit of looking just to make sure there's nothing over there that would do that. And so I've got my 12 millimeter here. We're just gonna break this guy. Okay, there we go. See if we can get this with minimal spillage. Let's see. Oh, that was pretty good. All right, this oil is pretty dark. I'll show you guys in a sec here. All right, so as you can see, it's draining out. Still a bit of an auburn color, so that's good. Nothing too crazy coming out there, no crazy chunks. I'm gonna get this finished, and then I'll show you what's up. All right, oil's all out. Put a new copper crush washer for my little Harbor Freight set. Pretty handy there if you ever need some crush washers. The copper assorted washers from Harbor Freight are great. And I'll put this on and torque it up. All right, so now the next step. So it's kind of tricky because when you look out, even in the manual, with the drain bolt, it just says tighten firmly. So no torque meter or anything like that. So I did that. I just tightened it firmly. It's always a little bit scary. My other bike, one of the problems is that there's a little leak because I didn't tighten the oil drain bolt tight enough. So I made sure to give it a little extra ugga-dugga on this one, and should be good. So now that I have that there, this calls for 650 milliliters of oil. I do know that in an overhaul, it says to do 750, but we're not overhauling. So we're gonna go 650 right there. So I'll open this guy up. All right, so 650 milliliters is about 22 fluid ounces. My ratio, right? We're gonna take it to about 22 fluid ounces. So we're gonna do 10 and then we'll do 12. Okay, there's 10. And we'll dump that in. Hopefully nothing leaks out the top. And then it's 22 total, so we just did 10, and now we're gonna do 12. All right, and dump that in. And there you have it. Now in theory, you could use the cc's on here, but I like to convert it all to fluid ounces just because the line for me is a little bit clearer. But if you look, so 10 is 300, 12 is about 350, so 300 plus 350, 650, and we're all good to go there. Some guys will consult the check bolt. The problem for me is at this point, I don't have a great crush washer for the check bolt, and if you're gonna take it off, you need a new crush washer. So at this point, I'm confident in my math, I'm confident that the bike totally drained out, so I'm not worried about it. I'm just gonna leave it. You know, that's home mechanic work, okay? If I was working in a shop or something, I would definitely check that. But at home, this is my bike, it's my responsibility, so I'm just gonna leave it. All right, time to put the underplate back on. Probably tighten these just a little bit. This is pretty annoying, not gonna lie. Come on, get on. I just don't want it to get it all super tight and then have to undo it. All right, so there we have it. We got the top installed, we got the drain bolt installed down there, we got the whole underplate installed, 650 milliliters, good to go. I'll give it a few cycles just to get some oil on the clutch packs. There we go. Hands aren't too oily, it's okay. Squeeze this a couple times, get some oil between those packs there. Now we're good. Time to move on to this guy. All right, so one thing that I actually need to do on this bike first, on the 125, is I need to use the impact driver to get these Allens off. So let me take a look here. I don't have any Allen bits that fit in here. So that's awesome. So I need to go to Harbor Freight and get some more stuff. Probably deal with that tomorrow. All right, so I finally got movement on this bottom screw. Take this one out of here. Just this top one that we really need to cooperate. Come on. Come on. Ah, there we go. Got it. Just needed to get seated in there just right. What I've got here is from a company that I recently found from Jimmy Kaiser, is 834 Moto. So these really cool guards here from 834 Moto that I'm going to install right now. These guards come with 2 screws, and it's basically like more like a factory solution, right? All right, so unfortunately, I guess this aftermarket one doesn't quite fit my bike. It's not 834 Moto's fault. The other side fits fine, but I was thinking there was some cross compatibility sort of with the RM250 and RM125 chassis, but I guess it's actually just a little bit different. But all in all, it's not a big deal. And now we have these little bolts here that are way better than those crummy Allen ones that we had before. So I'm going to send these guys in first by hand. Just kind of get them started by hand, and then I'll be able to. All right, cool. So that's not going anywhere, and now we don't have these crummy rounded off Allens. So nonetheless, still an improvement. Not quite the improvement I wanted to make. I'm gonna have to reach out to him. He later released some specifically for the 2000, so I'm thinking that I just have the wrong ones. But for now, this is fine, and this is a good solution anyway, so we're cool. So the first thing I've got to do here is grab the bike and pull it out a little bit. So now we got it, so if any oil spills on the ground, which a little bit has already from the leaking bolt here, it'll spill onto the cardboard. All right, first order of business is we want to loosen this guy just a little bit and get it out of the way. Okay. Just like so. That spring is okay to hang right there. This bolt we can leave right there. And then, just want to make sure that we've got this washer here as well. So what makes this next part a little bit tricky is that I've had to helicoil a few of these before. So we need to make sure that no matter what, we know the order of all these, and we kind of keep this together as one unit. In theory, we should be good. Okay. Sweet. Okay, so the next step is we're going to want to lay out a couple paper towels, just so we don't get oil on everything in the garage. And again, we're going to take these guys out. Now, when we take these out, we want to take these out kind of in a star pattern as to not warp anything in the drive here. It doesn't actually have to be a star pattern, but you just want to do a little bit at a time on each. You don't want to go crazy. Now that this in theory is all loose, we're going to grab the entire clutch pack. Looks like we got them all. I'm just going to set them all down right here. So our push rod's fine, everything's operating fine. This all looks good. Nothing's loose. It all seems good. Okay, something that's really important about these old Suzukis is that underneath the pressure plate there's this little bearing. It just looks kind of like this. It's this little bearing plate here. What you want to make sure is that these rollers are down. If the rollers are up, what ends up happening is your clutch will completely stall. So you'll hold in the clutch, you'll put the bike in gear and go thunk, and then the whole bike will stop. So you got to make sure that the rollers are facing down, just like so. Boom. So the rollers are face down. That's fine. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open up this new kit here. Okay, so I already have the steels soaking in some oil here, or the fibers soaking in some oil here, which is good. That's what you want. And then in this kit here, we've got brand new steels and springs, which is awesome. So we're going to be installing the entire kit, and we're just going to hope that it's going to kind of fix the problem here. You don't have to soak the steels or anything like that. One of the reasons that why I was really excited about this kit and why it was recommended to me here, there's like these little dimples you can see, and these little dimples kind of hold oil. So the theory is that because my bike is dragging, because they're kind of dimpled or perforated or whatever, it should get a little bit more oil through the frictions, and the bike should be good. All right, so here we go. Steel, or fiber, sorry. Fiber. And a steel. And fiber. And a steel. Steel. And the very last fiber. Really drippy. Let's get that on there. Boom. Very last fiber. Okay. So now that we've got all the fibers and the steels in, we want to take our pressure plate here, and we are going to very quickly swap out all of these springs. It did come with it came with an extra spring here, which is interesting. Okay, for packaging purposes, this kit may include one or more springs than required. Discard the extras. Okay, cool. I was a little bit concerned there. I'll just put them in. I'll put them in this bag for now. I'm not too concerned. So I've got this guy here that I'm about to set on, just like so, and it's not indexed or anything, so it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter exactly which way you put it, as long as you get them all on nice and even here. Okay. Now it is recommended that you screw these in by hand. At the very least, you screw them in by hand at first, and then you can put them in with a screw gun later. And even then, when you put them in with the screw gun, you don't want to suck these guys down as far as you possibly can. Now, the manual for this says that these spring screws right here, that they need to be set in at approximately 7 foot-pounds. What I will tell you is that, to me, feels like a little bit much. So I'm going to screw these in by hand, and then I'll show you guys a little trick that I was taught via Jay Clark on YouTube, Dirtbike TV. And go a little bit there. Now here's the trick. If you get a T-handle, or you have a T-handle of some kind, what you do is you tighten these up little by little, and then from here, you basically use the engine like a torque wrench against itself. So I'm going to twist this, and if I twist this to the point where it basically turns over the piston once, that's how I know. That's how I know it's tight enough. So I'm going to go here. And that's about right. Yeah, and there you go. It's nothing crazy. You just want to make sure that they're all about consistent. All right, so we're going to spray a little bit of, just a little bit here. A little bit of contact cleaner. We're just going to want to go around this, particularly the bottom where I saw a lot of oil get spilled. We're just going to give this a quick wipe down. Make sure that there's no super oily residue left. Make sure you don't get a bunch of paper towel in your clutch there. Of course, a couple of them always want to be stubborn. What's new? Screws being stubborn, who would have ever guessed? All right, now that everything's back together, I'm going to clean all this up and we're going to get ready for the oil change. All right, now that the bike is up, everything feels pretty good. We're going to unscrew this guy right here, and hopefully that was a little easy to get off there. Maybe a little too easy, which is why it was leaking. There we go. Okay. Yep, and that's post-break-in oil. So this is the first time I've really changed the oil post-break-in. It's significantly lighter than the other oil. Just the tiniest bit of glitter in it. That's from the friction plates, I'm sure. Nothing crazy. It's not milky, so it's not full of coolant, so that's good. Yeah, should be good. As always, brand new crush washer right on there. Again, one of the Harbor Freight ones. There we go. I'll give it one ugga. Okay. Really don't want to force the drain bolt. It does have a torque number, which I think it's 14 foot-pounds on this bike. But with drain bolts, particularly on old bikes like this, it's kind of dicey whether or not you want to really go with that or not. Some guys claim, especially on like Yamahas for whatever reason, old Yamaha hardware, if you torque everything to spec on old hardware, the odds of it shearing are higher than you would probably like. So a lot of guys, they say just tighten it, give it like a little ugga with the ratchet. And in this case, it was dripping pretty bad before. This bike does have a skid guard that I'm going to put on tomorrow, but I'm going to leave it tonight just like this, and I'm going to observe the cardboard tomorrow morning to see if anything's dripped out, particularly from here as well, since this is helicoiled and it's a little bit Mickey Moused. I actually have an entire brand new inner clutch cover for this bike sitting in the toolbox over there, but it's kind of one of those things where it works for now, so until I really need it, I'm kind of hoping just to leave it as is. Now it's time to actually fill up the oil. And again, this bike right on the side, it says 750 milliliters. I know this bike takes 800 when you're fully overhauling it, but when you're just doing a normal fill, it's 750 milliliters. We're gonna take a look here. When I soaked the plates, this comes with about 950 in it. When I soaked the plates, I made sure to soak them in about 200 milliliters. So let's take a look. 700, make sure that we're all in the right ballpark here. It's showing about 730-ish, 740-ish milliliters. I'm not too concerned about the difference, and I also have some more right here. Okay. Nothing too bad under there. Every once in a while I'll notice just like the tiniest bit of dirt or sand or something underneath here. It doesn't worry me too much. I know that a lot of it's kind of trapped underneath the O-ring there. So we'll just make sure we give it a nice little clean there. I don't want to spray any contact cleaner on this because I don't want to impact the integrity of the O-ring. So for now, we'll take a look. And that looks fine to me. Nothing too gross about that. Pour on in. So let's think about this now. Okay, we open this up, we replace the clutch, we put it all back on, make sure it's all good to go. We drain the oil, put the plug back in, should be good to go. Gave it an extra UGA, make sure it doesn't leak with a new crush washer, that's good. We open this up, put 750 milliliters, so 500 plus 250 into here. So all I need to do now, in theory, is I pop this guy out, put it in my ratio right, and we'll screw this guy back on. Make sure there's no sand or dirt or anything under there. The reason I had to get this aftermarket plug right here is because the plastic one was stripped. So remember that, kids. Try not to strip your oil plug there. Don't need that one to be too tight. The only problem that I see with these guys right here is that on the trail, if you don't have a ratchet, you're not going to be able to open that. So if you're like a hard enduro guy, or you're really going to like the middle of nowhere, and it's really important to you that you're able to open that, I would not recommend one of these. I would just get another OEM plastic one. But you know, a little bit of bling never hurts. So, anyways. All right. Well, that's it for the night. Got a little Mountain Dew here. But yeah, so bike's all good. Other bike's all good. And we're going to come out here tomorrow and we're going to see if there's a leak under either bike. We'll assess the leak, figure out what's wrong with it, and from there I'll end up throwing the skid plate on that one, and then we'll go ride it. All right, so for whatever reason, I just forgot to film an outro. I will tell you the next day there was nothing dripping on the floor, and I put the metal skid plate, the Works Connection skid plate I have for the 125 back in the bottom. And yeah, everything was good. No leaks on either bike. I rode the 125 up and down the street a couple times. The clutch actually feels great. I'm really happy with the way that it's turned out. My next video, I'll show probably a little bit of riding. I'll kind of show what's up with the clutch, and I think it'll be great. I did a little bit of carburetor tuning, so I did change the clip position to the third clip instead of the fourth. So third is OEM, fourth is richer, and it was a little blubbery. So now it's really crispy on the clip. On the needle. The issue was now I need a smaller pilot jet. Now bike OEM comes with a 50, and I have a 48 that I got from the previous owner, but the hole in the 48, even to my naked eye, looks bigger, and when I put it on the bike, it runs more blubbery, and I have to turn the idle up actually higher. So I think it's a jacked up, it's like maybe Chinese, or they did something to it and made the hole a little bigger on accident. So yeah. With that said, I've ordered a new air filter. I've ordered a 48 ounce, a number 48 jet, and I will throw that in the bike, and it'll be sweet. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.